Did you know there's a root crop you can grow that's a great substitute for potatoes, but can be grown from a bean seed? It's true. G'day, I'm Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, and in this video I'm going to give you my 5 top tips on how to grow a ton of jicama or jicama. Let's get into it. Up to about 12 months ago, I hadn't heard of jicama, and that's strange because for a food crop this good, it should be more mainstream. Jicama, or I often call it jicama by mistake, is a vine-growing plant native to Mexico that produces an edible tuber vegetable similar to potato in texture and can be prepared and eaten just like a potato. And whilst it's not exactly the same, jicama in its own right is a yummy veggie to eat, both cooked and, unlike potatoes, you can eat it raw, like carrot sticks or as a slaw. However, this highly useful veggie does have a sinister side, and perhaps that's why it's not as popular as it should be. And that is, the rest of the plant is poisonous, including the toxic beans it produces. So you wouldn't want to get your bean harvest mixed up, that's for sure. Having said that, the bean pods and the beans inside are fairly distinct, so you're not going to mix them up too easy. And if you did eat one or two, you probably wouldn't curl your toes up, put it that way, but it would make you sick. Tip number 1, the best place to grow jicama. Jicama is a tropical plant, but as you can see, we're growing it very easily here in the subtropics. And I would give it a go in colder climates also, because although it might not grow as prolific or the tubers as large, I think it could still be a valuable crop to grow through summer. You'll read posts on the internet and see videos of people claiming that jicama needs a long, warm growing season. But I've experimented with this plant over the past 12 months and have found that whilst it likes it hot, it can still withstand cooler weather better than you'd expect. I'm making this video in midwinter and it was still growing fine, albeit slowing down a little, but growing nevertheless. And this tells me it's not only hardy, it's also tolerant of a larger temperature or climate range. Jicama also grows really well in containers. Maybe not something this small, but it still will grow well in the smallest of pots. So it's good for small spaces, courtyards, but also in a cooler climate where you want to move that pot around to chase the sun as you go perhaps into autumn. Tip number 2, planting and sowing. Many root crops are started from tubers or rhizomes, but this plant here is grown from its poisonous bean seeds. Don't worry, you can handle them no problem, just don't pop one in the gob or you might chunder like there's no tomorrow. You can sow where they are to grow, and I usually prefer to direct sow most crops, but I like sowing jicama in punnets because for this crop I want to know how many plants I have before going into the garden so I can space them out properly. Once these have germinated, they are very hardy, and unless you neglect them terribly, the chances of growing on after transplanting is high. So planting out after germination is easier than wasting seed thinning the plants out if directly sown. I find it remarkable that one seed like this can produce an edible tuber like this in a matter of months. Because it's a root crop, you don't want the soil to be too heavy and compacted. So make sure it's free draining and even dig down the first 30 centimetres or so, till it up so that it's got plenty of room to expand below the soil. Tip number 3, trellis or growing structure. You can technically, just put that there, you could technically leave this plant sprawl out all over the garden bed. And it wouldn't matter because it's not like you want to harvest the fruit easily or protect the crop from touching the soil, say like a tomato plant. The bit we want to eat grows underground. Nevertheless, you still want to provide a structure for it to grow on for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you can control where it grows. Jicama can be a vigorous vine, and if you don't give it something to climb, it just might find something else or other plants to smother. And secondly, since this is a tuber crop developing underground, why not let the vine grow up and utilise the space under it for more food crops to grow? I had lettuce and other salad crops growing underneath these plants, and even a Jerusalem artichoke that had self-seeded and grew in the same bed. You don't need a super strong trellis to grow jicama. I just used a few hollow, long garden stakes and some trellising material, and it worked really well. Tip number 4, pests and disease. One of the best things about growing jicama is its immunity to pests. Unlike so many other vegetable crops, jicama, the plant itself, contains a natural pesticide called rotenone, which is deadly to insects, so no animals will come near this thing. On a side note, growing jicama near other crops that are vulnerable to pest attack might help deter insects from that immediate area. I have more testing and growing to see if that concept actually works, but it is worth noting. If you find signs of snail, slug or rodents chewing on the exposed tubers as the plants grow, hill up any tubers if they're coming out and cover with soil or mulch to prevent access. Leaf discoloration or blemishes are usually nothing to worry about either. And I've found jicama can grow a little mottled at times, but it doesn't affect growth much at all. This is a very easy plant to look after. Tip number 5, harvesting. Here we are back in the past with a much younger me, because I wanted to show you harvesting jicama in real time so that we could enjoy it together. Speaking of time, jicama can be harvested at any time, but if you want seed for the next season, and I think you should, it's best to wait and harvest once the seed pods have browned off and are ripe. Otherwise the seeds will be immature and thus not viable to sow next time. The other thing you can do is let one plant continue to grow on until it dies back naturally and then collect the seeds. But one thing to note is for that particular plant, the longer that tuber is left in the ground and as it continues to grow, the woodier it will get and it won't be as nice to eat. Anyway, let's do this harvest and see what we get. What's that? You already know? Well, that's just cheating. Ready, I've got my arms, some secateurs just to cut the vines away from the base. I'll get rid of this first. We'll put it somewhere else, then I can collect these seeds later. Just snipping off the vine from where the tuber's coming out. Okay, that should just lift off. There we go. These lettuces here can go too. They've actually gone to seed, which is a good thing because then I can use this seed as well. Let's remove this mulch and see what we've got under here. Okay, that's Jerusalem artichoke. Got nothing to do with this. That was a byproduct. Put that to one side. Beautiful, beautiful though. Look at it. Oh wow, look at this. Crikey. Oh, 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 no way. Isn't that gorgeous? Here's another one. Oh, wow. Hey, how good is this? Oh, that is some serious food there in just one tuber. I can feel it. Must weigh about at least 1 kilo. Well, that's, well, the first side. They don't grow very deep, unlike say a sweet potato which can go down 1/2 metre, or a potato which is usually a lot deeper as well. They tend to grow closer to the surface. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, there's worms all around the place. The soil isn't very heavy, it's quite light. This so far is the largest jicama I've ever grown, so I'm keen to taste this tuber and work with it in the kitchen to see what it's like compared to the smaller ones. Let's keep going. As I thought, lots of Jerusalem artichokes still. Here's a smaller one. I'll be able to compare the smaller one to this one and see how they taste. Here's another smaller sized one. There must be a literal ton of jicama here. I really do rate this plant, and now it is one of Nina's, my wife's favourite foods to eat also. At the moment, Nina and I are on a eating only what we can grow experiment from our own property for 21 days. And because at this time of year potatoes and sweet potatoes are not in season, this jicama will play an important role in our diet over the coming few weeks. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you grow jicama, get it into ya. And if you like this video, give it a big fat jicama thumbs up and share the video around, because that really helps a lot. You won't believe how much sharing these types of videos does help. So don't discard it. Thumbs up and share the video around. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.